Today's episode is brought to you by Maddox's new book, Fuck Whales, Petty Essays from a Brilliant Mind. Order now at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or anywhere books are sold.
Welcome to the best debate in the universe. Every debate in the universe, from overrated movies to butts versus boobies. With over 2.5 million downloads, I'm your host, Maddox. With me is this sergeant of swag, Mikey Bolts, audio engineer.
Huh?
And as always, the Maharaja of moderation, Rucka Ali.
That's right.
Welcome back to the show. Guys, this is the big episode right before Halloween. Actually, by the time you listen to this, it'll be the day before Halloween. So we're going to do something spooky this episode, I think. I mean, we do something spooky every episode, inadvertently. But coming up on today's show is the debate, what's a horror game that doesn't suck shit? And that's not just video games. You could do Ouija boards, anything. What's that stupid one in the mirror? The Bloody Mary?
Bloody Mary.
Yeah. And then we have a recap of last week's debate, which is the shittiest movies of all time, the most overrated ones, voicemail, and then headlines. But first, I want to introduce our guest, all the way from Pittsburgh, Alpha Omega Sin. Welcome to the show.
I'm going to be the Ayatollah of rock and rolla for this particular podcast.
Nice.
The Ayatollah of rock and rolla, which, by the way, I got a calling in because Rucka got a promotion last week. So, Alpha, I don't know if you know this, but I mentioned in my book that I gave Rucka a promotion on the show if he had read it. And if he didn't, I said if a fan discovers that acknowledgement before Rucka does, he gets a demotion. And last week I gave him a demotion. You were the top unit key grip deputy cadet moderator, and you went down to the superintendent of cum dumpsters.
That's right.
Because
Superintendent.
yeah, you could have been worse. It could have been the janitor of cum dumpsters.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Your duties aren't even to unload the dumpster.
No.
No.
It's to supervise.
It's yeah.
But then,
Turns out Rucka was being a little sneaky,
Yeah.
and he had actually read it.
I didn't say that.
Well, wait, you didn't read it, Rucka? I can
Wait, you never said I had to read the book.
I can recall that. Well, at least that.
Yeah, that
know what,
part.
Rucka?
That part I read.
Already back to thin ice.
The acknowledgments at the end.
Thin ice, buddy.
What,
Yeah.
you thought I would read every page in order till I saw my own name? Like I couldn't guess it would just be in the acknowledgments at the end?
You know what? We'll see. You know what? If I write another book, we'll see where your name ends up. Okay.
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, call me in 28 years when you finish your next book.
Yeah, real fucking funny.
Yeah.
Anyway, I should talk about our guest this week, Alpha.
Yeah, let's get to the guest.
So Alpha, here's the thing. Alpha has a huge YouTube channel. He's been a longtime commentator and gamer, mostly gamer, I would say. Like you guys who are watching on YouTube, you got to check out this guy's game collection is insane. And every time we do a Skype session or I look at his videos or anything, I just stare at the background and I see all the different games he has because he and we have a huge overlap of the same types of games and game taste. Isn't that right?
Yeah, a ridiculous amount. It was years ago, you had just randomly mentioned stuff that you were into and you were playing. And me and my best friends were like, holy fuck, no one ever talks about this. We're the only motherfuckers who seem to know about this. So then you're dropping all these titles. I'm like, this is awesome as hell. Then we got to sit down, get to shoot shit, talk about all that.
So Alpha and I did kind of a test podcast a while back because we were going to do this, like a podcast about gaming and stuff. And we just sat down and talked for a couple of hours about video games and kind of forgot that we were even supposed to do like a test podcast. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. Thank you for joining. We've been talking about doing this for a long time. Our fans have both mutually been trying to get us to do this for a while. So this is finally happening all the way from Pittsburgh. And hope the audio quality is okay. It will be because we got Mikey Bolts on the helm.
Hey!
Yeah. And so we should also mention, this was a busy week for both Mikey and Rucka. Guys, but you got a video coming out, Mikey?
Yes, I got an original song with cartoons like Hank Hill and Hank and Dale. and Hank's surname, or no, new name is Dank Hill.
Dank Hill.
Dank Hill.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so you do this.
It's an original song.
Can you do a little bit of the Hank voice?
What it do? It's the king. Call me Dank Hill. Coming straight from Arlen, Texas, where I bank mills.
Yeah.
Certified to sell that gas. You know I got it next to me. Bong, swishers, papers. That's propane accessories.
So something like that.
I've been in the rap game for quite some time, so I know talent when I hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, same here. I'm about all those jizzles and rhymes.
That's right. He knows.
What did you call yourself?
That stuff.
Something Rockarola?
Well,
Ayatollah.
I stole it from Chris Jericho, but it's the Ayatollah of rock and rolla.
Ayatollah of Rock and Rolla.
Hell yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
So we got a lot of music talent. And speaking of music talent, Rucka,
Yeah.
and you're gonna have a heyday with this, Alpha. But Rucka, you released a new video this week that's on fire, right?
On fire.
What's it called?
I mean, by the time you hear this, who knows if with YouTube it could be deleted, demonetized, or fucking redirect you to some gay porn. But yeah, it came out. It's finally wrote a song about gamers. You know, it's like for years people are like, hey, right, I don't know anything about gamers.
Yeah,
but I do. You know what I do know about?
What's that?
Writing lyrics about topics I know nothing about. I have a song about Minecraft. I have one about My Little Pony.
Yeah.
Just I'm up for the challenge.
Yeah.
So
dating chicks.
Dating chicks.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something I write lots about.
Yeah.
You really got me there. And so I released the video, and you're actually in it. But
Yeah.
So this is a thing. So Maddox has a big announcement, which I'll make for him. Big video game you're working on.
That's right, guys.
That's right.
I'm working on a video game. This is something I've been waiting to announce for a long, long time. It's something I've been wanting to do my entire life, and it's finally happening. I've got a great development team. We've been working on this for already 3-4 months. And I should say that when I tell you guys I'm fucking busy, and everyone's like, oh, you're just writing a book. Well, as if that's not a huge fucking undertaking. Just writing a book. Just writing a fucking novel, which is like one of the most difficult
Is
things
that what you
in
did?
many people's life
Did you
goals.
write a novel?
Yeah, it's a book.
Is it a novel?
What's the difference?
Do you not know what a novel is?
No, yeah, a novel's usually like a fiction, some bullshit.
Usually?
Yeah, I don't know. It can be.
It is.
It can be a bio, too.
No, it can't.
Okay, fine. Whatever. I wrote a book.
Okay.
It's my third
I'm not
fucking
arguing
book.
that you wrote a book.
Yeah, you can't, because your fucking name's in it.
You called it a novel.
Look, I wrote a fucking book. Everyone knows what I'm talking about, asshole. Anyway, thank you for announcing my my game.
Yeah, so the video game, if you blink, you could miss it. Very brief.
But yeah, so in Rucka's new video, there is a little cameo of me. Looks kind of like video gamey. Who knows? We'll see what happens. But it is coming soon, and that's what I've been working on top of this weekly fucking podcast, in addition to the video version, the audio version, the cartoon I'm working on, the animated show, and the book, and a fucking video game. So everyone can go suck my dick.
You do work hard. Yeah. The way you come in prepared with facts and information in here every week, I can tell you do a lot of research.
I do a lot of research. I have a ton of fucking facts and opinions.
That's right.
That's right. I do. And you know what? You got lit up during the calls this week when we get to the voicemail.
What now?
Yeah,
what
you'll
did I
see.
do now?
You'll
Jesus
see, buddy.
Christ.
Alpha, you're going to have a heyday with this. And by the way, so Rucka made this song about gamers.
Yeah.
And would you say you are a gamer or no?
Yeah, well, you know, all my songs, they to really bring them in, Maddox. I know you write, quote novels, but when it comes to like lyrics, you wanna say something relatable. So you say, I'm a Korean, I'm white. I'm black.
This is how I related to him.
I'm Trump. I'm Kim Jong-un. I'm Obama. You want
These are all lyrics to the Gamer song, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm assuming. Okay.
So I said, so yes, in the song, I'm a gamer. Now, obviously, I'm not a gamer. I don't know how to. I have an Xbox 360, and I don't know how to connect it to the internet, and have not really tried. But like I said, I'm very good at picking up little facts and tidbits and piecing them together and presenting something to the world, which is what I did. But I didn't realize, like, people in the comments said, you left out PC Master Race. You only talked about consoles. I didn't even realize there's a dichotomy there. So I guess I got to do a PC Master Race song.
What you did was you pretty much just triggered all the Spurg lords out there. Like,
oh my god, my platform of choice wasn't mentioned. I gotta let you know about that.
So that's what you're gonna deal with is
a lot of that voice.
There we go. That's
echoing
exactly what happened.
Yeah, and Alpha, with my fan base in particular, everyone's so fucking pedantic, which you'll hear in a second. But last week, we should talk about the recap of last week's debate. We had a roundtable discussion about what's the most overrated movie of all time. We all brought in picks, and we had Chris Raygun on as a guest last week, and his picks were 3 movies. It was the Christopher Nolan Batman series, all of them. Every single one.
No, it was The Dark Knight, wasn't it?
No, all of them. All 3. He
all
hated. He thought they were all overrated. And Mikey Bolts brought in Mrs. Doubtfire. Rucka brought in The Matrix, and I brought in Scott Pilgrim. Coming in last place, we actually have a first ever two-way tie. We've never had this before, but the Chris Nolan Batman movies and Mrs. Doubtfire came in as a tie.
Wow. Like literally?
Literally.
Like the same amount of votes?
Same amount of votes. I looked at it. It was 50-50 on the website. Then I looked at the total number of votes. It was 187 to 187.
Holy shit.
Right down the middle. Exactly 50%.
Wow.
Yeah. I've never seen that before. So congrats, you guys. Both had equally overrated movies. And then in second place was The Matrix.
Yeah.
And first place was Scott Pilgrim versus the World. That's right. Everyone finally appreciates. Okay, now, Alpha, you're a big-time gamer. And I have a theory about Scott Pilgrim. People who are gamers hated that movie. Did you hate it or love it?
I didn't give a shit that it existed. I had people hovering around me about how amazing it was. So I watched it, and then, you know those summer blockbuster movies that you watch and then you immediately forget it ever existed? And you can't remember or recall anything from it. That's what Scott Pilgrim was. So there's fuck the movie. I haven't read the books, but I don't give a shit about those either. So
okay, great. So real gamers didn't like the movie, right? Is that what I gathered from your analysis there?
Yeah, that'll be my review.
Yeah. Well, it was a huge piece of shit, and
not according to the people.
Oh, yeah? Well, we'll hear what the people have to say, starting with this call. Actually, this guy did disagree with me. He called in to call me out on my Scott Pilgrim hate, but listen to this.
Good. Maddox, you godforsaken mongoloid. Scott Pilgrim isn't on a loser who's going after a girl. Scott's fucking cool. He's in a sweet-ass band, and he lives rent-free with his gay roommate. And all he does is just go after a fucking hot high schooler. Like, it's meant to show that Scott thinks he's a badass, because he pretty much is a badass, until he realizes how much cooler Ramona is than him, out of his reach. He then works to get her, only by cheating on the girl that he's with, and the movie is actually about Scott realizing he's a huge piece of shit by the end of the movie. Fuck you.
No, fuck you. First of all, a little bit creepy that you're like calling this high schooler hot. Second,
that's what I want to point out was, why did he zero in on that in particular? He's just like, best thing about them is that I keep getting older and they all stay the same.
Yep.
Just like, what?
Yeah, really creepy. And Scott Pilgrim, he's like, no, Scott Pilgrim's not chasing some girl, but he is chasing some girl. And then by the end of it, he's like, well, the movie's great because Scott Pilgrim realizes he's a piece of shit.
So, two things. I actually disagree with the caller. That his band is not great. His band sucks. I hate that fucking hipster scenester bullshit.
Yeah.
Sucks.
And then, there's this like, well, this isn't really directly what the guy said, but like, that movie has that weird dynamic of like skinny emo dude and aggressive kind of manly girl.
Yeah.
That's like a thing.
It's a thing now.
I mean, Michael Cera is the fucking like epitome of like that of his decade of like skinny, passive, wimpy dudes who link up with like beastly, angry B words.
The alpha girls. Yeah. They're the ones who wear the pants in the relationship, and all these like weakly looking dudes are like, okay, thanks for your pity, pussy.
Yeah, that movie kind of solidified.
Bunch of fucking losers.
Shit. Yeah.
You know, I can at least say one thing about Scott Pilgrim that's actually good, and that's the video game. That beat 'em up is fucking phenomenal. I'll play the shit out of that every day.
Now this is we might disagree on this one, Alpha, because I played that game too, and I was really into it for the first two levels. The music was great, and the graphics were the art was by Paul Roberts, right?
Yeah, I think it was supposed to be designed exactly as the books are. It just in sprite form.
Yeah, so the graphics looked great, the music was great, the sound effects was great, the gameplay was okay for a hot minute. But it got really repetitive, and I wasn't into it by the end of it. It was just like an okay licensed game.
Well, it reminded me of River City Ransom.
Yeah.
Pretty much like you can just keep running around and you just build yourself up. The downside is the game got stupidly fucking easy. Like, once you power yourself up, there's nothing that can stand in your way. You're just obliterating everything in your path.
Right. Well, I think we all agree then Scott Pilgrim was a piece of shit. So, Rucka, you're getting lit up in these calls. There were so many calls calling you out. I couldn't even.
I mean,
we don't have
calling
time
me
for
out
all-
for what? I won the won the contest.
You did not. You came in second place. But Rucka,
Yeah, but I won compared to you.
no, you didn't. That's what second place is. It means you didn't.
It's higher than third.
Okay, guys. I guess we all learned something today, how numbers work. But Rucka, I brought in some.
We learned what a novel is.
Yeah. Well, you learned what a novel is. We learned that I write books.
All right, let's get to the callers.
You read novels, pulp novels. So I have so many callers. I didn't even have time to bring them all in. I just brought in a montage of some of these
great.
Rucka calls. Listen
All
to this.
right, let's do this.
Here's a bunch of them in a row.
Hey, Tasty Torbay here. And, yo, Rucka, what the fuck? You pedantic bitch. You try to talk a big game, but you don't know what the hell you're talking about, and you get called out on every episode. Rucka,
Does that have
you
to do with
gotta
it?
stop being such a pretentious fuck, and you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Hey, this is Christian. I'm responding to the episode about the most overrated movie, and Rucka's choice is, fucking stupid, because I don't think he understands the concept of the Matrix.
Hey, Rucka, just wanted to let you know that The Matrix is coming on to Netflix November 1st. So, yeah, you could watch it again because I know it's your favorite movie. Love you. Bye.
Yeah, there you go. There's a bunch of calls.
That's it.
Yeah.
Two calls that have nothing to do with the Matrix.
They all have a lot to do with the Matrix. I cut the calls because
the
they're
first
so long.
two were not about the Matrix.
Yes, they were.
They were just
They go
talking
on-
shit. They were
no,
just
but they go on. They were like,
Oh.
Rucka doesn't understand the philosophy of the Matrix.
Oh,
Rucka
okay.
doesn't understand the allegory of the cave analogy.
Oh, okay.
And all of a sudden, what do you have to say about that, Rucka?
Yeah.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
well, the people have spoken. What do you want me to fucking say about that? The movie sucks. It's overrated. By the way, it's not that the movie is even that bad. Yeah, it's a cool kung fu movie with some weird fucking pseudo-intellectual edge, but like the fact that people reacted to that movie like, whoa, mind blown, bro, I never thought of it that way, because when you think about it, like, the world we see around us, how do we know it's real? But, that fucking baby's plugged into a fucking computer somewhere, that's probably real. It's just like, you guys are not fucking smart. These are not smart people. These are not good people. They are most disagreeable, and they irritate me.
Yeah, okay, great, got it. Alpha, did you like The Matrix, the original?
I like the original, but what happened was the original was cool. Then they were like, oh shit, well, the iron's hot, start striking the shit out of it, so they made 2 and 3, and holy fuck, it's not even like they dropped the ball, they deflated it, lit it on fire, and just, like, shit on it.
Yeah.
Wasn't it
a
supposed to
fucking
be a
tragedy.
trilogy, though? I mean, the first one ends, like, leading you to think there's another one coming.
Yeah, because they knew that movie was so revolutionary at the time, and it really was. When it came out, it changed cinema, that movie. It really did.
Okay.
The first movie was great. The second two were disasters, but you can't impugn the first one. Here's another call.
Well, I think I can. I just did.
Well, you did poorly. Here's another call.
Yeah.
So I also shit on Lion King last episode because I don't understand it. I don't understand why they sing. It's weird. And then I also called out the lions for the absurdity of all these animals bowing to the lions as like their masters when the lions are just going to slaughter them. Here's a caller calling me out on that.
Hey guys, love the podcast. First off, just wanted to say, I'm a vegan, and we all know Maddox hates vegans. Yet, his problem with the Lion King was the fact that the lions eat the animals. He said animals feel pain. Why don't they just eat grass? Sounds to me like Maddox wants the lions to go vegan. Then, he says that his problem with Scott Pilgrim says it's a fucking awful movie. Well, in that movie, a vegan gets killed for drinking milk. So, by hating that movie, Maddox hates the fact that vegan got killed. Sounds to me like Maddox wants to be a vegan. I don't know, guys. Food for thought.
Do you?
No,
yes.
I don't want to be a vegan ever.
You don't?
No.
Do you have any follow-ups to that call, or that's it?
What? The lions?
I forgot about how in Scott Pilgrim they clown on vegans hard. That's funny. You should be all over that shit.
Yeah, that's the one thing that was okay about the movie.
That's a pretty epic thing, considering how funny that shit was.
It wasn't that funny.
No.
It wasn't worth it.
Now, Maddox, is your mug gonna end up saying "world's greatest vegan"? Like, is that going to be a thing?
No.
I'm worried about that. I'm
No.
worried about that. I'm just saying. I don't know if this guy is like trying to
Look, for those of you,
some stuff.
Alpha, thanks for calling that out. I was hoping no one would notice, and Alpha specifically called it out. I right before the episode, I'm like, hey guys, I'm drinking out of this shitty mug. I should change it. It says best dad ever.
Yeah.
And I went to the dollar store one day because I needed a mug real quick, and that's all they fucking had, and it was the right size. So there you go. Yeah, and no,
Yeah.
I'm not a vegan.
Yeah,
I think it's a bankrupt ideology.
And what about the lions? They eat the other animals and shit.
Yeah.
But here's why I don't like it, because it's one thing to eat other species, but it's quite another to force those species to worship you while they're alive, which is what the lions do. The other animals are subjugated to them in their life and then eaten by them in their death.
Well, it's just such horseshit. If you could just completely dismiss the meat industry with that one line from The Lion King, then you could just go to PETA and say, hey, PETA, yeah, we eat the cows, but eventually when we die, we turn to grass, and then the cows eat us. Ugh. Stupid.
Oh, yeah.
That fucking movie sucks. And speaking of movies that suck, this was one of my runner-ups. Listen to this.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Maddox, I'm calling because I just heard your overrated movie podcast, and I just want to say that every one of you guys are fucking wrong. The real most overrated movie of all time is Donnie Darko. That movie is such poorly written, poorly directed, poorly acted piece of hipster fucking trash that all these fucking morons and mouth breathers pretend that they understand because they want to sound like an intellectual, but they're not intellectuals. They're all fucking stupid, and they're all fucking assholes for liking that movie. But anyway, Rucka, you're awesome. Mike Bolts, you're great.
Mm-hmm.
Maddox, I'm loving the new book.
Oh.
Fuck whales, punch a Nazi,
Yeah.
and blowjob son.
Cool. Yeah, Donnie Darko was on my list. It was, yeah.
Can anyone explain that movie?
Donnie Darko?
Yeah.
No, it's horseshit. Did you like it, Alpha?
It's one of those movies that tries to be much deeper than it is, but in fact, they were like, we don't know how to fill in these plot holes. What if we use them to our advantage? And that's really what the movie is. It's supposed to be much trippier than it tries to be.
Yeah,
So
it's a
fuck
bunch
it.
of artsy bullshit, and film majors love to dissect shit they don't understand. And they act like they've come to some understanding, but nobody ever comes to a consensus because people keep discussing these fucking shitty movies. Can we just acknowledge that sometimes directors are fucking idiots and they make shitty movies that don't make sense? Let's stop giving them our time. They're not worth it. These movies suck. I hated Donnie Darko. I watched it because I think I was dating some chick, and she was like, oh, you got to watch Donnie Darko. You got to watch Donnie Darko. Finally, we'll fucking watch Donnie Darko again. Like, we broke up with her. Hated the movie so much. Anyway.
I hope you broke up with her before the credits rolled and be like, you see this, bitch? You see this? There. Now you know.
Yeah, it was a very aggro breakup, too. I was like, look what you made me do.
Pulled a T-Swift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maddox did not understand what your reference just now.
What'd you say, T-Swift?
Yeah.
What's that?
For $1,000, can you tell us what that means?
T-Swift? I don't know. It's probably some rapper.
Okay. Time up. Okay, I was scared you were actually going to know for a second.
Is it a kitchen cleaning product?
Look what you made me do is a Taylor Swift thing. I should have even
Taylor
told you. I
Swift.
should have just winked at the camera and said, it's funnier if he doesn't know. And just
Great.
see how many weeks go by where people call in and fuck with him about this.
Well, speaking of callers calling in and fucking with me, I had so many people calling in to correct me about this. Listen to this.
Hey guys, long-time listener here. I was listening to the episode about which movies are the most overrated, and I wanted to throw in something that Maddox, of all people, would appreciate. Pedantry. I don't know why no one ever timestamps these calls for context so people can look them up later, but I guess I'll be the first one to do so. At 59 minutes and 45 seconds in, before Maddox announces his entry, he gives some runner-ups. It's actually runners-up, just like it would be surgeons general or passers-by. Anyway, I love the podcast. Mikey, you do a great job. Keep up the great work, guys.
Yeah, great. Oh, thank you so much for that fucking correction. Oh, thank God everyone knows what I was talking about now because you added an S to that word. And then I got this caller, another one. Listen to this.
Runners up. Runners up. Runners up. Runners up. Runners up. Runners up.
Yep.
You know what?
Douchebag of the week.
Yeah, he's the douchebag of the week. I get it, guys. Oh, wow. Thank God. Like, everybody now understands clearly. I'll go back and I'll make a correction. You know what? We'll make an official retraction. How about that?
That'd be a first.
I'm so fucking angry. Yeah.
Just take the episode down, re-upload it.
Yeah, I'll re-upload it.
Just say sorry for 5 minutes in the middle of
yeah,
the podcast.
press release. Here's a shitty joke. Listen to this guy.
Hey, Maddox, I got another joke for you. Why does it take 10 tickles to make an octopus laugh? Or shit, no, wait, why? How many tickles does it take to make an octopus laugh?
10. He called in so many times trying to fix this joke. Listen to this.
Hey, Maddox, how many
And then here's another one.
Hey, Maddox, how many tentacles does it Fuck!
Idiot. And then I got this call. This was a call calling in to hear the song. So way back in episode number 42, our guest was this guy named David Kirsch, and he made a song about me and this show. And this call's calling in trying to find out what that song was. Here it is.
Hey, Maddox, episode 42, the tribute song that David Kirsch sang for you. Is there any other way to get that? Please let me know. I'll pay for it. Okay, thanks. Bye.
Yeah, so I don't know what's going on with that call, but he wanted to hear that song. I brought it in again, and I believe I played the entire song at the tail end of that episode. So if you guys haven't heard it, go back to listen to episode number 42. It's at the tail end of the episode. But here's a little clip of it if you guys don't remember. This is what it sounded like.
Hey there, you shithead, everything you do is shitty. I'm ashamed to say I know you, cause your life is such a pity. Yes, it is. So eat my ass, choke on my jig.
Okay. Well, yeah, anyway, that's a little blast from the past, a little flashback. But yeah, go back to listen to episode 42. I believe it's at the tail end. And then I think David Kirsch, he has all his stuff online as well, and maybe SoundCloud and everything. But anyway, guys, we should get on to the debate this week. Joining me again is my Maharaja of moderation, Rucka Ali. Let's hear his buzzer. And Mikey Bolts, let's hear yours. Sergeant of Swag. And all the way from Pittsburgh, Alpha Omega Sin, let's hear your buzzer. There it is. If you guys hear any of these buzzers, that means that somebody has disagreed. They're chiming in. They want to point out a correction. But we're going to talk about the debate this week, which is what's a horror game that doesn't suck shit? Because many of them do, and we're trying to get to the bottom of the ones that don't. Alpha, we're going to start with you as our guest this week. What would you say is a horror game that doesn't suck shit?
The first Dead Space.
Oh, the first Dead Space. That's a good pick right out the gates.
Dude, ever since Visceral Games, they got shut down recently by Electronic Arts. And that's something I want to play this month just because it's October, so spooky month.
Right.
And, I mean, it's been fucking ages since I played through the first one.
Now, we should talk about, for people who don't know what Dead Space is, there's a lot of people in the audience who aren't gamers. You know, they're out there getting laid. We should talk about what Dead Space itself is. Have you guys played it? Mikey, have you played it?
A few times, but I don't really remember. Is it space something?
Yeah, it's a horror game in space, basically. That's
is that
about
what he
it.
said? Did he say that? Because that's all I thought of when I heard Dead Space.
Dead Space, yeah. The title kind of, leads the...
Well, let me tell you, I'm afraid of things and I'm afraid of space. So when you put them together, I would probably be afraid of that too.
Yeah. It seems like a game you'd be very afraid of, Mikey.
Oh.
Yeah.
Just me, huh?
Just you.
All right.
Well, who's afraid of space?
Me, because I'm afraid of having my lungs punctured.
What do you mean the lungs? What's going to puncture your lungs
if
in
you
space?
Can't breathe because you're being impaled in your chest.
Mikey, what do you think happens in space? Do you think you get impaled?
You can't breathe out there. You guys would take the oxygen tanks from me.
So are you conflating the concept of not being able to breathe in space?
No, I'm inflating my head, and I'm mad that you guys are going to take the oxygen tanks. I'm afraid of space. I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm sorry I'm the only person in this podcast that's listening to that's ever been afraid of space. I'm sorry.
Rucko, are you afraid of space?
I mean, it's not something I'm concerned about being in the situation, but the thought of being in space with not only not being able to breathe, but just no way to even solve this problem. I can't even swim back to Earth because there's no air to fucking perpetuate.
You can't push yourself out there.
Mm-hmm. Rucka Science Corner.
Am I wrong?
No. Yes.
Nope. What am I wrong about?
He's not wrong.
So many things, Rucka.
What?
Name one. The enlightened man of science.
Name one thing I just said that was incorrect.
I mean, I guess, that's the one concern, but that's not really a concern because if you're ever finding yourself in space where you have to swim back to Earth, you've got a lot of problems.
That's what I'm saying.
Even before getting to that point, you've got a lot of problems.
Like what?
Like, for example, how the fuck did you get out into space without any kind of
Why is that the immediate problem?
How
did I get here is the immediate problem?
Yeah.
Okay, not how do I get out of this?
No.
No,
how did you
it's
get
how
there?
did I get here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you're not getting out of it. Because if you're dumb enough to get there, you're definitely not you're
So-
smart enough to
so
get out of it.
The biggest problem is when you find out you're about to die in space, the biggest problem is solving the metaphysical, philosophic question of how did I get here? That's the biggest problem, that in the few moments you have left of existence, you need to answer this question. That's the biggest problem.
Well, let's hope no one makes a movie about it, because you'll call it out for not being real full of philosophy or real philosophical, like The Matrix.
That's exactly what Gravity
Nice.
was. The fear of dying in space.
What was?
I
Gravity was kind of like that.
I guess.
The fear of dying
That
in
movie was
space.
a little overrated.
Oh, it was.
Yeah.
But I'm saying it just gave you that irrational fear, like any of us are going to be in space.
Yeah, it is an irrational fear, Mikey, which is why
That I
it's
have. A lot
it's
of people
curious.
have irrational fears. I'm just letting you know.
No, I know.
Sorry.
It's just curious that this would be a fear of yours. So, Alpha, you thought it was a spooky, scary game. A lot of people did. A lot of people thought it was a scary game.
It's filled with a shit ton of jump scares. Like, take something that's action oriented, like Resident Evil 4,
right?
And where it's just really intense. Like, it's not so much. Well, I shouldn't even say it's not atmospheric. I think that the first game did a good job of atmosphere, whereas the second and third games were more just trying to focus on just go and fucking murder everything that's coming after you. And being impaled is actually one of the things you have to worry about. But here's the thing. You actually have to worry more about getting all your limbs and being decapitated, tons of shit like that happening. That's pretty much what you have to worry about. It's just being beheaded constantly. Poor Isaac.
It was a
I
lot
feel
of
bad for
beheadings.
him.
A lot of beheading. One of the cool things about that game is that it had a weapon that was kind of like this wave. It was like a wave blade that shot and it decapitated enemies as well.
Yeah, it's fuck. I want to say it's the. I'm probably wrong on this. I always forget it's his main weapon. I think it's the line gun.
The line gun, yeah, that's what it is.
Dude, there's some really cool weapons that you get in it. Just going back to all the impaling shit, there's this one. You get these long fucking stakes, and you just sit there and just shoot them off, and the necromorphs are all coming after you, all gangly and goofy, like they're all fucking glitching and shit. And you shoot them, and you just stick them up to the wall. I became more entertained with doing that than anything, because I was like, oh, I wonder if I can make art. And it was it was delightful.
The physics of this game were pretty fun. You could shoot they're basically giant spikes through the enemies, and they would get pinned to the walls. It was so much fun to do that. Now, the game, for those who don't know, is kind of like a spookier Aliens game. If there were also like ghosts and stuff. I didn't like the ending of the game. The last guy was kind of a piece of shit. But the sequel to it too, which a lot of people panned, but it had a lot of psychological scares in it as well. So here's the thing. Here's what makes a really good spooky game. Mm-hmm. When you're walking down a hallway in a corridor, you just see tons of doors, tons of nooks, tons of crannies that things can pop out from, right? Mm-hmm. And you know that the fucking developers are going to fuck with you. So you're just walking by, waiting for it, bracing for it, and it doesn't happen. And then you see, just in your periphery, that a door or a drawer someplace will just rattle a little bit. And you'll think, okay, that's it. That's where the fucking thing's going to burst out from. Then you go investigate, nothing comes out.
So they just make sounds.
Just make sounds, and then you keep walking, and you hear more sounds. You hear, like, muffled moans and noises and screams, and you're like, what the fuck? What is the sound coming from? And it becomes so stressful that you want to stop playing the game. That's a good game, when you want to stop playing it.
Well, it made you paranoid.
Yeah.
Like, that was something I liked about it. I mean, I like watching horror movies and shit, but when you're playing a game like Dead Space, when you're walking around, you don't know what's going to end up killing you. Like, you checked where the sound came from. Typical stupid white person in every horror movie. Better go check it out. And you go and wander your ass over. There's nothing there. Well, I'm safe. And then shit just comes up from the ground, rips you up, brings you down, and it's pretty awful. Also, Dead Space 2, probably one of the goriest games you'll ever play. It's over the top in the amount of gore in it. I let Isaac Clarke die so many times just because I want to see how it happened. It was great. Worth it every time.
Yeah, it's a good spooky game. Good pick, Alpha. Real strong right out the gates. I was going to pick that one as well. But
I love how pixely and glitchy he was for a minute there. I Snapchatted it. That's like thousands of dollars of special effects right there just happening naturally on Skype.
Alpha, you can't even see what's going on our end. But so for people watching this on YouTube, which you guys should all check out, we have a new channel for Madcast Media. All the shows are going up there on YouTube. But for those of you who are watching, Alpha, there was the coolest glitch effect going on your video feed where your hands were frozen behind your head, and then they were also moving, so it looked like you had 4 hands.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty fucking cool.
I've always wanted to be Goro. That works.
Another man who appreciates Goro. Last week, these bozos were giving me shit because there were no good video games movies, and I said the first Mortal Kombat was good.
I was saying there wasn't. I said, what about Mario, which I've never actually seen?
It's fucking awful.
Yeah,
It's pretty bad. It's creepy.
It's pretty bad.
Doesn't know its audience.
So bad.
Yeah.
And the making of that movie, there's some article that someone wrote a while back where they talked about what a disaster it was even making the movie. And that was when Nintendo kind of took a hands-off approach with movies. So Nintendo came and took their most valuable license and gave it to some unknown directors and said, yeah, go ahead, have fun with it. And they came out with that piece of shit. Insane that happened.
I'll always remember the Goombas. The Goombas in that movie, like you see the Goombas and they look like little chestnuts with feet or little like nuggets of shit and they just wander around.
Right.
And then when you see the movie, they're gigantic as shit. They have what looks like Killer Croc's head but shrunken, and they're wearing trench coats. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
It was so ridiculous.
Yeah.
It scared me to this day.
It was a disaster. Well, speaking of scary, Mikey Bolts, what's your pick? Do you have a horror game that doesn't suck shit?
So a game that I played like 7-8 years ago that I was really into was Left 4 Dead. I love
Left 4 Dead. Okay, interesting. Now, I'm really curious to hear about this game because I didn't really play it. That's the zombie one, right?
Yeah, and it's just very simple. Like the concept of it is just slay as many zombies as you can. With
I know about slaying.
And no, it's just really fun. Anybody out there that has played it knows. I don't know what it's a simple game. You could have like a bat, you can have shotgun, semi-automatic, all that, and you have to there are hordes of zombies that'll just it's fun.
Well, what's scary about it though? Is it the
There's
overwhelming...
a witch, okay, and you I'm not kidding. There's a witch that you start to hear going, and then everybody turns their lights off at the same time because if you startle the witch, she comes at you full speed, relentless, and will probably kill you unless you're in a accompanying easy game mode that you can actually kill her. Sometimes she's very difficult. She's very hard to kill compared to the other stuff. But the witch still haunts me to this day.
I always liked it just because it's one of the few horror games that I can think of, at least off the top of my head, that you can get friends together and you can all go in on this shit and play it together. I actually dig that. Plus, take the zombies mode from like the Call of Duty Black Ops series. I know it's weird to go and draw a correlation between it, but it's actually a fair comparison because you're dealing with waves of enemies and you're just trying to get from point A to point B and trying to survive. And they got different shit. Like you mentioned the witch. What the fuck's the name of the really, really big one? Like the big brute looking motherfucker. He's like a big tank character, but when it shows up, it's pretty awful. And plus, some people can actually play as that and run around and go kill the humans. That shit's cool.
The big guy in that game, he spits up on you, and it attracts the horde. So if he throws up, if he throws up on you...
Well, no, that's a different enemy. I'm talking about the really, really big... He just looked like a big bruiser motherfucker.
Yeah.
Well, look, guys, these choices so far have heartened me, all right? It's given me hope because no one has mentioned Last of Us yet, thank God, which I thought was not scary and was overrated. And
I don't even know what that is.
Last of Us is this game where this guy and his kid, basically Juno, go around and they are using like every fucking tired, worn out trope in video games today, which is like every fucking game has to have a lesbian subplot. I love lesbian shit, right? But I'm like so fucking tired of this in every fucking video game. It's not progressive. It's not creative. It's not clever. You're not doing anything revolutionary. It's tired. It's predictable. It's expected. Every fucking video game today has a lesbian subplot. And then what's
suspiciously, that's what an alt-right Nazi would say. My God, Maddox.
Oh no.
My God.
Oh no. Oh shit, you guys found me out.
What's that game called?
What? The one with with Juno in it? It's Last of Us.
Last of Us.
Yeah. They basically put Ellie, what's her name, from Juno in it. Is that the girl's name?
Yeah. I think so, yeah. Ellen Page.
Ellen Page, that's the one, yeah. Basically, it's Ellen Page, and she's like, strong, independent white girl who don't need no man, and she's like running around, and she's the cure to this fucking zombie plague, which again, like you don't even have to play the game to know that's the plot. And she goes through, and this guy, and the main character is so unlikable, thoroughly unlikable. He's just a fucking douchebag who's just grumpy all the time. And then I hate the fucking ambient chatter of modern video games where your character's walking and they can't just shut the fuck up. They're always commenting about what they're doing. Oh, I sure am hungry. Oh, I wish I wasn't in this fucking dungeon. Yeah, me too, shithead. Shut up, I'm trying to get out of it. Fucking hate that shit. Anyway, Alpha, good pick. Mikey, good pick. Rucka.
Dude, I love your transition right there. Like, I wish they'd just shut the fuck up. They're so fucking terrible. By the way, guys, good pick. Good pick all around. Very good. Very good. Positivity. High fives.
Yeah. We like to keep this positive, make it a real positive show. Yeah. Hey, and speaking of, Rucka, what's your pick? What's your horror game that doesn't suck shit?
Last of Us.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here.
All right. I could bring that in and fucking win the fucking election because everyone would want to fuck with you. But being the gamer that I am,
yeah,
I was gonna bring in Zombies Ate My Neighbors for Genesis,
yeah,
because I played it once and remember being impressed by it.
Great game,
surprisingly, because most video games, like most people, don't really impress me very much. But this game, I just remember being surprised at how good it was.
Yeah, Rucka's not even impressed by Gandhi, so that's saying a lot.
No,
I'm gonna be a dick. The Sega Genesis version is fucking putrid shit compared to the Super Nintendo version. It makes me sad because LucasArts clearly developed a game for Super Nintendo and then ported it to Sega Genesis. And the music sounds awkward. It doesn't have as good of a color palette. That shit always bothered me, especially since I really like the music in the game. It sounds weird.
Which is exactly why I did not bring in Zombies Ate My Neighbors as my pick. So my pick doesn't have to be a video game, does it?
No, it doesn't.
It has to be a game.
Just has to be a game.
Seance.
Seance? Oh, seances.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Rucka, damn, dude. I didn't see that coming. That's actually a really good pick. Seances.
Yeah.
Seances. Okay, why are they... wait, you're saying they don't suck shit?
They don't suck shit.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Why don't they? Because I think they do.
So I did it once.
Oh, you did a seance?
Yeah.
No
when
shit.
I was 13. What? What, did you expect me to be 45?
So what, do you go to an actual place or did you and all your virgin friends sit around?
I will admit we were probably all virgins at the time. But we did it at my friend's house on a piece of notebook paper. I think we used like a shot glass to like move it around. So basically here's how it goes. You write down every letter.
Yeah.
And then like yes and no. That's another thing, and then you put the shot glass down and everyone puts their finger on it, and then so this girl that I really liked, she was a babe, right?
Yeah.
She told me she can get us in touch with Kurt Cobain.
God damn it.
Oh man, a bunch of fucking loser kids sitting around trying to talk to the spirit of Kurt Cobain, which, by the way, I can't think of many things creepier than just the concept of a kid talking to an adult ghost. Okay, because that ghost might be a fucking pedophile. Like, what? How do you know the ghost is not going to be like just doing and saying creepy shit to you? What if the ghost is a molester?
I mean, we were 13. Kurt Cobain was 27. I mean, we can fight back. We're three of us.
He's a fucking
You think ghosts
spirit.
stay that age? They don't.
They keep aging?
I guess they would stay. Never mind.
Yeah, they can't.
Well, hold up. I'm more curious about this. Okay, so 27-year-old Kurt Cobain is going to show up, and then he's just like, well, I'm a ghost now, and I stopped giving a fuck, so now I want kid ass. So how are you going to fight now suddenly Kurt Cobain, ghost pedophile, when you're a bunch of 13-year-old kids using 5-star notebook paper, and you're made up not Parker Brothers Ouija board? I need to hear this.
Yeah. So we started with the prayer.
Yes.
You
As
know,
you do.
please,
Yes.
whatever the fuck. I don't remember. This girl, she knew. We repeated after her.
Yeah.
She was like, please get us in touch with the spirit
Right.
of Kurt Cobain.
Okay.
Of Kurt Cobain.
And who is she praying to? Just God is going to...
I don't remember if it was God or heavenly whatever or the spirit beyond. I don't remember if it was a God thing per se or if it was just like, reaching out to the other dimension.
To the authorities.
Yeah, some bullshit.
Yes.
Like the type of bullshit you'll see in a movie like The Matrix. Some shit that makes no sense whatsoever.
Everyone likes The Matrix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we put our index fingers on this glass.
Yes.
And we would ask a question, and then it would either move to yes or no, or it would move to
it would move
to the letter.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we had to touch it, so our energy would move this glass.
Oh yeah.
Listen, The question was what game, not what legitimate form of communication with ghosts, okay? What game? This was a cool game. And at the time, I thought it was probably real. Because, fuck, she was hot. And I got my first kiss that night.
No
Yeah,
shit.
dude, we fucking made out for like 20 minutes, bro.
Wow.
Was it with the ghost?
Yeah, it was Kurt Cobain. He outed his
Yeah, that's
at his 5 o'clock shadow field.
felt great. Yeah.
Man, that's fucking creepy, dude. If you're a parent and your kids are in the other room and you're like, "Hey, kids, what are you doing?" And they're like, just talking to a grown-up." Like, you'd be like, "What the fuck?" You'd run in there and be like, "Who the fuck is in your room with you?"
Mm-hmm.
And then, just because it's a ghost, it's supposed to be okay. That you're
the kids are just like, whoa, Dad, slow your roll. It's a ghost. like, come on, it's not that bad.
Oh,
Like,
it's just a ghost.
Don't be mad.
The kids are having a haunting upstairs.
Shit's just floating in the air. Some poltergeist shit's happening. Bodies are coming up from the muck and mire around the house. It's okay. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah. Huh. Really, really weird, unexpected pick. Well, anyway, anything else you want to add to your seance? Did you have any like weird, did you have candles, goats, any of that shit?
I don't think we had any candles, no. Goats? No, there were no goats.
You know, the movie Drag Me to Hell, I thought is a great movie. And Paranormal Activity 2 ripped it off pretty bad, pretty hard. But Drag Me to Hell by it's a Sam Raimi movie, right? Alpha, you saw it, right?
Yep.
It's a great movie, I thought. And they had a seance scene that was so fucking cool. It's the only cool seance I've ever seen. Seance is like just lame. It's a bunch of jangly, like women with jangly bullshit on. And then you got the crystal ball and not your shitty made up Ouija board that you guys like half-assed. But that's like a real seance and it sucks. But the one in the movie is so fucking cool because they used the goat as a medium to communicate with the spirit. So the goat became like sentient and was speaking, and it was fucking creepy as shit and cool. That was like the only cool. And then they had to kill the goat, I think. They broke the goat's neck, which is always a plus.
Sacrifice.
Yeah, sacrificing the goats. Yeah.
They
Mikey,
do that. They do that a lot in movies.
They do.
There's a lot of sacrifice.
Yeah. Anyway.
Scary.
You made out with your, you had your first kiss that night, huh? With Kurt
Congrats,
Cobain.
man. That was your first?
Yeah, it was my first time.
Wow.
Not with Kurt Cobain.
No.
It was with the girl, dude.
Yeah.
But did you talk to him? It just became a lot less interesting. That's,
yeah.
I'm tapping out.
I'm trying to imagine what this was like. Like, you guys had a failure of a seance.
No, it was working. The glass was moving around.
Oh, yeah. What did Kurt say? Did you get any communication with him?
I'm trying to remember. There was some stupid shit.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like, what am I going to be doing, some shit about the future, and he gave some answer, right? And I don't remember what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why would you? It's just, a communication with the netherworld.
I mean, who cares, dude? I was hanging out with this girl. That's all I was thinking about.
Okay. So you had this communication, this weird seance where Kurt Cobain answered something about the future that you can't even remember.
Yeah.
And then the girl's so worked up, she's like, "Oh, Rucka, you're so strong. You did so good in the seance. You really asked the right question."
You're really getting into this character, Maddox. Keep going. Keep going.
You know what? I will keep going. On to my pick for the scariest game. Now, this is it's a popular game. It's a game that defined a genre of survival horror. Now, Alpha, I think you know what this is, but the original Resident Evil game was a great game, and it was also genuinely gave some scares to people. Not me, because I'm not scared of anything, but like most people, I think, found the game really scary. Specifically, and again, this is not me, I was not scared, but when I saw the zombie for the first time in the game, it's really unexpected because you're seeing him bent over eating a corpse, right? And he slowly turns his head, and the way they have painted the texture on his face, it almost looks like big red clown lipstick, but it's blood, and it's so fucking creepy, that zombie look on the first time you see it. And the gameplay controls are so clunky that when you're turning around in the small room, the zombie's like feet away from you, and it scares the shit out of you, not me, scares the shit out of you, and you are desperately trying to get out of this room because you don't know how to kill a zombie yet. It's the first time it's happened, and it's such a tight enclosure. It's a really, really cool experience, really cool game.
Dude, it's... My experience with that game was so fucked up because never played a horror game at all. And I was playing Super Mario World the same fucking day my brother got that. And I go from playing Super Mario World, where the scariest thing is the fucking ghost house. So going from that into Resident Evil, I'm like, wow, this all looks like real life. Meanwhile, if you look at it now, it's like, Jesus fuck, kid, what's wrong with your eyes? So, and you get into the game, and the tank controls are awkward as shit. Like, you basically spin and you rotate in place, and it's just awkward way it moves. I didn't know how to equip a weapon, so the zombie just shambles over like this. I'm like, oh fuck, oh no, he's gonna kill me, and then he starts eating my character, and then I'm like, I'm really dying. Not compared to other games, like I'm actually dying, and then that was it. You died.
Yeah,
dude, that was upsetting.
It was a really upsetting. It was very scary. I remember this kid, not me, sitting in his room playing that game and being too scared to play it during the daylight.
During the daylight?
During the day, yeah, because it was like such a spooky game. And then the other big scare, and Resident Evil this got every single fucking person, except me again, but every single person in the world got this jump scare when you're walking down a hallway and these dogs burst through the window. It's so unexpected, especially in a video game. They were the first to do that. Capcom defined the genre of survival horror. And by the way, that's a clunky expression, survival horror. Nobody really knows what that means. And I think it's because of a mistranslation from Japanglish in the intro of the game. It says, "Welcome to the world of survival horror," whatever the fuck that means. And then that became the defining term for the genre. And then every game that followed since.
Yeah. Wait, why were you afraid to play it during daylight?
I wasn't.
No, why would someone be afraid to play it during daylight? Isn't it less scary during daylight?
It's supposed to be less scary, right? It's like daytime. There's sun outside.
Oh, so it was so scary that not only was someone else afraid to play it at night, but even in daylight.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
I'm just glad that now nobody has to call in and say exactly that.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing. So for the next podcast, nobody can. You beat them to the punch.
That's right,
That's
and
awesome.
no one will, because we know our fans, and they're good. They're good callers.
Good quality.
Not pedantic at all.
Nope.
Anyway, those are the picks.
Dude, real quick, did you play through the remake?
No, I haven't. Is it how does it hold up?
Fuck, dude, you got to play the remake. I put it at the top of the entire series. Like
No
that
shit.
in Resident Evil 2, I always like argue with what is the best, but the remake, they redid the entire game, and visually it still holds up even now. And they've got the shit running on every single system imaginable, but it's not the awkward voice acting and shit, and they have a bunch of new puzzles. They have the Crimson Head zombies, which are really fucked up. Like, you have to burn the corpses after you kill them. If you don't, then they come back, and they're faster, they're stronger, they're meaner.
Wow.
And it's a lot better. Just play that version if
That
you
does
can.
sound intense. That sounds really cool. I like that a lot.
It is.
What was the there was another game too where, I guess that Prey kind of has a few of these jump scares too, where the game that just came out, Prey, if you kill a character, or if you see a character who's dead on the ground, they might not necessarily be. You have to shoot them or double tap. Always double tap. Check those fuckers. Anyway, the Resident Evil game, I think my favorite of the series, just for the story and gameplay, which I'm not even a fan of story, but Resident Evil 4, I thought they really brought the heat. They really came back with a vengeance. Resident Evil 2 is another great game. That's the first time you were able to bisect zombies with a shotgun. Pretty fucking awesome. And then their torsos would chase after you. That was really cool.
It's ridiculous. And you literally blow off their entire upper torso. You'll see 2 legs and then like a chunk of abdomen. And it's like shit, blood everywhere, falls over.
It's hilarious. A really good game. Guys, if you guys want to vote on which horror game doesn't suck shit, or and I guess we'll include seances in that too.
I mean, it's a game.
Sure. It got you some game.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you guys want to vote on these, the website is madcastmedia.com. Also, the voicemail number is on there. If you're a new listener to the show, the voicemail number is at the bottom of the page on every single page for the best debate. Just click on it. You can call in, leave us your shitty opinions, and then vote on which game you think is less of a sucks the least shit. I'm curious to see what you guys think. So again, the choices were Dead Space, Mikey, Left 4 Dead, Rucka, Seances.
Yeah.
And me, Resident Evil. But before we move on, we should talk about other things that don't suck shit. My new book. Yeah. Guys, thanks again for all the pictures you guys have sent me with the books. I just got one again today from Dave from Cyanide and Happiness. You guys know the webcomic? Yeah, Cyanide and Happiness. Those guys are my bros. I love those dudes. And Dave, I just ran into him at a wedding a couple weeks ago. He picked up the book and he just tweeted me a picture of it. Keep those pictures coming. I got some like turbo babes. Alpha, have you ever seen a turbo babe?
No. Show me a turbo babe.
Yeah. Well, they're in my fan base and they're taking pictures of themselves with my book. And I can't even tell which looks better, the book or the turbo babe. Like either one. Like it's like two beautiful things together. Wow. And they're sending me pictures. Keep those pictures coming, guys. They're awesome. And by the way, I want to put out maybe a contest. If you guys are able to take a picture of the book with a whale, a real-life whale in the background.
What can possibly go wrong?
The listeners of this show, I'm sure are drowning.
Okay.
I'm sure.
Madcast Media is not responsible for anything that may happen during this contest.
Correct. Thank you, Rucka. Thank you for coming. And thanks for the plug at the intro. But anyway, thank you guys for checking out the book. It's in stores now. Anyway, guys, lots more to come. I got the game, got the animation coming out, lots more coming down the pipes. But Rucka, do you have a wrap up for us?
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna let you talk for this one. Guess who I saw today?
Who?
Guess.
Okay, Keanu Reeves.
No.
That's a guess. Who would you guess? Alpha, who do you think Rucka saw today? And the choice is anyone in the world.
Yes, Alpha. Who did I see?
George Clooney.
Okay, Mikey, who did I see? Between the time I left my house and the time I got here, who might I have run into?
Cher?
No.
These are old choices, Rucka.
That's your fucking neighbor that you hate.
Oh, my fucking hippie neighbor.
Yeah.
Oh, great. What that old crone have to say?
She's nice.
She's fucking awful. She's buttering you up.
All right. It's my wrap up. So although you're allowed to speak, let's not get carried away. All right. Yeah, I was pulling up. There was a big, nice open parking space. Then I was like, ooh, something's wrong about this. Like, this spot is not usually open. And then as I'm driving by it, I see her, and I'm like already planning to not park there just because you've instilled this fear in me of her, this irrational phobia of your hippie neighbor.
Yeah.
And she was like, no. She was like pointing, like going like, no, like wagging her finger, like no. And so I just kept rolling. And then you know what she did? She did the thank you prayer thing that people do when they're gracious. And I said, sure. And I kept driving, parked over on a different street. And, you know what she said to me last time I saw her?
Yeah, she like said you're a good boy or something.
They're very good. Do you think that's something I've heard many times in my life?
Yeah, she's a bitch. I hate her. Hey, Alpha, in case you're not familiar, here's what she sounds like.
I will hurt you.
That's a recording of her telling me she's going to curse me.
Yeah.
Just because I'm like walking to my house. She's a huge bitch, and all she does is harass people in the neighborhood. She throws bottles at them. She chased a fucking Amazon delivery girl with a megaphone, and we had to call the cops.
Megaphone, huh?
Oh, this chick. Oh man, I hate her so much. She's awful. She's the worst.
Maybe the listeners should decide if they should vote on it.
Oh yeah, we should make it one of the votes.
Let the people decide.
Yeah, whether or not my stupid hippie neighbor. Which, by the way, Alpha, you're invited. If I've already announced on the show that when my hippie neighbor dies, I'm going to throw a big party for all the listeners. So yeah, it'll be a death themed party for her.
Dude, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, yeah, it'll be great. Anyway,
it's a Rucka wrap up.
It's a Rucka wrap up. There you go.
Yeah.
All right, good wrap up, guys. It's time for some quick news headlines from around the web. I got a bunch of interesting ones this week. A man enjoys life after losing his 3-foot-long penis.
What?
This guy.
He enjoes life after losing it?
Yes, after losing it.
Did they reduce it?
Yeah, they reduced it. It's too big. This guy is from New York Post. His name is Forens. He first noticed a cyst on his genitals back in 2006 and had it removed, but it came back with a vengeance a year later, bringing the length of his penis to almost a meter. That's about 3 feet. The 20-year-old was forced to drop out of school and didn't have the money to pay for surgery. So he tried to use herbal remedies to help his condition, but they didn't work, the outlet said. The condition can actually be caused from a mosquito biting and injecting larvae into the bloodstream, which can develop into a parasitic worm that blocks the body's drainage system and causing it to swell.
Oh, my God.
So would you do it? Would you get a 3-foot-long penis, but all you got to do is get a mosquito bite?
Okay. I got to chime in on this because I'm trying to think about how this will actually work. So you got a 3-foot-long dick.
Yeah.
The minute that you get a hard-on, you have no blood in your body anymore. Your dick has become sentient and is now going to take over. You are now officially the penis.
Yeah. Pretty
That's
cool.
what's going to end up happening.
Right.
I mean, what better thing when you're having sex than to be so out of it that that all you can do is feel? Huh? Isn't that great? I wish I could turn off, like if I could just turn off my mind for a few minutes, because during sex I'm just constantly thinking of like math, work and
Pythagorean theorem.
I'm so confused.
How to solve things.
Was his penis normal size in the first place?
I think it was, and then it
and then it became 3 feet long because a mosquito bit it.
Yeah, it says Florence's neighbor put this story on social media, and it quickly went viral, garnering the attention of local governor's wife, who ordered a doctor to inspect him. So the governor's wife saw this on social media, and she's like, you know what? I'm going to make a decree that we investigate this man's penis.
So that she can hit it.
So,
Wait, who decreed this?
Whoops.
Who decreed this?
The governor's wife.
The governor's wife made like an actual...
Yeah, she ordered a doctor to inspect him.
It's weird.
What city? What country is this?
This is like in South Africa somewhere.
Oh, okay. Some fucking primitive, mystical place where the governor's wife can decree to have your penis taken away.
Yeah. Oh, it's such a terrible thing that the governor sees that you got a 3-foot dick and they're going to come investigate it.
All right, we'll see how you feel when a mosquito bites your dick and it's 3 feet long, and then the governor's wife decides how you should be treated.
Hey, buddy, if a mosquito bites my dick, I'm getting a 6-foot dick.
Ah, shit. Was he uncircumcised because this was outside the U.S.?
I don't know, man. I mean, it doesn't show
there's like a picture.
There's a picture of the guy, and he's all smiles now that he got his dick reduced.
Wait, so they reduced it back to
normal,
its original size, or did he say leave a couple extra inches on it?
Yeah. I'm sure he told the doctors to do their handiwork. Anyway.
I'm kind of surprised, though. You figure China has been killing off how many different animals, trying to make sure that everybody's got the right type of shit to get their dick hard and get their dick bigger. And meanwhile, in Africa, they're like, we just found a mosquito and we got 3-foot dicks now. So, yeah. I mean, I think that there might be some import-export business going on in the future there.
Well, the only downside to this 3-foot penis, it sounds like, is that it is engorged with a parasite. So you do have...
disgusting.
Yeah. Well, speaking of, a California woman unexpectedly gives birth after not realizing she was pregnant.
Yeah, I don't get why that happens. That happens a lot more often than you'd think.
She just visited South Africa. Next thing you know, she's pregnant.
Was she morbidly obese?
No, this one wasn't, actually. It says here, when 45-year-old Beth Clay began experiencing excruciating abdominal pains earlier this month, she suspected she had kidney stones. Instead, after arriving at the hospital emergency room, the Venice woman discovered that she was about to give birth to her third child. Clay told KTLA in an interview Wednesday that she had no idea she was pregnant until Liam Ryder Clay entered the world 10 days ago. For the past 9 months, she maintained an active and healthy lifestyle, exercising daily and even going for long bike rides on the boardwalk just days before the delivery. She also kept to a strict diet that led her to lose 15 pounds during her pregnancy. And I think that's why the doctor said that she didn't notice it, is because she lost so much weight during that period that she didn't even notice the
What do you
swelling.
mean she didn't notice? Doesn't your stomach fucking show?
No, I've never been pregnant. I don't fucking know.
How does a woman not have a bulge in her belly no matter how skinny she is?
I don't know, man. People don't notice a lot of things.
What do you mean? Have you seen pregnant chicks in LA? They can be a fucking stick. They can be 85 pounds and they still have a bulge in their belly.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Maybe it's a fucking skinny kid. Who knows?
A skinny kid?
Maybe she's a vegan. Not feeding that kid any.
She didn't remember what the feeling felt like when she was pregnant. She didn't remember that it feels different than anything else, I would assume.
I don't know, man. These fucking hippies. Like, who knows anymore?
Yeah.
Who knows? Like, she's not eating right. She's exercising too much. She's fucking in Venice. Who knows? Who knows what the fuck, Anyway.
She thought it was gas, maybe.
She's kind of a MILF, too. This picture. Yeah. For 45.
Do you have it?
No.
Maybe she was in denial.
I'll put it on the website. I'll put it on the YouTube video. Yeah, I don't know. But, yeah, she had a kid. And,
well, congratulations.
Congrats.
Yeah. And then, since it's Halloween, congratulations from Madcast and Alpha Omega Sid. We'll send her a care package of a basket of Twizzlers.
Yeah.
All the leftover
have
snacks.
A balloon that says surprise.
Yeah.
We should make make an actual video and tweet it at her. I bet she'll love it.
She'll get a kick out of it. Just not her baby that she couldn't feel.
She'll feel this.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Mother of the year.
And because it's Halloween, there's always a story like this every fucking year. It's from people.com. And I'm not even going to link to it because the fucking website's so annoying. It has the auto-loading videos. But a Brooklyn mom says it's offensive for white girls to dress up as Moana for Halloween. Moana from Moana. Moana, yeah.
Wow.
Says, with Halloween a week away, parents all over the country are scrambling to find costumes for their kids, but they might want to stay clear of Moana, the main character from Disney's 2016 movie of the same name. The controversy swept through the web last month when Sachi Ferris published a now viral article titled Moana, Elsa, and Halloween about why Ferris shouldn't let her daughter dress up as the Polynesian princess. In a conversation about cultural appropriation with her 5-year-old daughter, Ferris says Moana is based on a real history and a real group of people. If we are going to dress up a real person, we have to make sure we're doing it in a way that is respectful. Otherwise, it is like we're making fun of someone else's culture. Oh, no. Wow, God forbid we fucking make fun of people anymore.
This was a viral story. Everyone was talking about this.
Pisses me the fuck off.
Yeah?
I just want to know where they think that they're actually like being progressive by telling people, well, you have to alienate everything and everything needs to be like categorized and sectored off and shit. And like, you do realize that this is just a kid wanting to dress up as a cartoon character.
Right.
And I don't give a shit what the fuck it's actually based off of when you start telling people like, oh, hey there, little white kid, you can't go and like this or do this or say this because you might offend some people, except for all the offended people are also just white people. But
right.
we won't ever acknowledge that at all. So we're good people.
The white people are way more offended on behalf of the supposed cultures they're trying to protect, which, by the way, I'm telling you, as someone from a different culture, I'm Armenian. My parents are from Syria. I've experienced this different culture. I've experienced, and when I remember growing up, when I saw anyone kind of like even knowing anything about my culture, anything about my people, if they tried to dress up like it, I'd be like, oh, wow, cool. Someone fucking acknowledges that this is a thing.
I know from making my video, Armenians love the attention. They just love being acknowledged that they exist.
Yeah, a lot of countries do. Smaller countries especially.
Think about it. In a lot of ways, it's almost like segregation because all they're doing is saying, okay, well, no, this needs to be over here. And the United States is supposed to be like a cultural mixing pot.
Right.
And it's not like they're bashing anything by doing that.
No.
You're obviously embracing something in a positive way.
Right.
So how is that bad? And then when you tell kids like that and you start beating this idea into their head, they grow up to be, well, literal fucking mongoloid idiots.
Yeah.
What the fuck,
and by the way, look at the fucking danger of doing something like this, the slippery slope here, which is essentially if another culture comes along and they say, okay, you know what? Wearing a business suit is part of our culture, and you can't wear a business suit anymore because that's what we do. I'm just giving an example.
What? How can anyone say that?
Well, right now they can't because the business suits are kind of ubiquitous. But let's say there's a new type of attire that becomes kind of standard in business worlds, and it came from America, and it came from Americans, right? Or Europeans. And then Europeans suddenly said, no, you can't do that. You can't wear this. You know what's part of our culture? Cars. You know what's part of our culture? Computers. Then suddenly they say, well, you're appropriating our culture.
Right. Well, that's always been like the counter argument to the cultural appropriation thing is like, hey, then you all shouldn't watch American movies and dress like Americans and listen to American music and American. But it doesn't work that way because the whole point of the whole social justice agenda is to disparage the U.S., disparage Western civilization, and elevate every other culture above it.
Well, I think it's a little bit more.
Well, I don't think it is.
Yeah, well,
and also as far as that it's similar to what Omega said, that it's similar to segregation. That is what they're beginning to do in colleges. In fact, they're starting to separate blacks from whites. That's literally what they're doing.
And it's something that the students themselves are demanding of the faculty and of the state. The problem becomes so widespread and ridiculous, like it actually borders on lunacy, because we were progressing towards like actual unity and equality. If you look at 2015, 16, and 17, which is where I think everything became like the big frenzy, we've just gone and done a 180, and we're going backwards. Yet we're just labeling it as being progressive. Like, that's you're regressing. Like, you're going backwards. Like, how the fuck don't they see this? I've seen people say that shit about digital blackface.
What is digital blackface?
Digital blackface is if a white person uses a GIF
black emojis, yeah,
of somebody who's black.
Right.
So and this was actually a thing a lot of people were behind. I'm like, I can't take any of you serious. You sound like fucking clowns.
Yeah.
Like, you sound like that you have jokes with no punchlines, and I don't get it. And this is the same exact thing. You're going after little kids?
It's
like,
a very,
what the fuck?
You're right. It's a very pessimistic and cynical point of view where you're automatically assuming bad intent behind every use of any kind of black emoji or black GIF or anything like that, that you think that you're somehow not elevating them, but reducing them.
They're not assuming bad intent. They're saying you don't even realize you're being racist.
Well, that's if you're saying that somebody's doing something that's racist, you're assuming bad intent.
Well, no, what they're actually saying in these articles and in these videos is that you don't even realize how racist you are. That's how racist you are.
That's a layer of condescension that they're adding onto the shit.
That's all this is
sandwich.
Condescension. But that's their
a
point.
A lot of it is they're mislabeling. Like, they're mislabeling and they're redefining what the word means. And it's kind of terrible because you figure people who actually dealt with actual racism and people who were on the front lines of trying to go and make the country, make the world a better place, like, you're slapping them all in the fucking face. Like, every single one of them, and you're spitting on that fucking history, and now you're doing this shit, and you're patting yourselves on the fucking back, and going after a little kid because they want to dress up like a character that they like. I don't give a fuck if they're polka dot, and they come from a different planet. Who gives a shit? Like, it's just let people do what they need to do so long as it doesn't hurt you.
Now,
and it's not. They just claim that it does.
Now, I should clarify. I will say this. As a curmudgeon, I do want to prevent kids from dressing up however they want. Like, I just want to have that authority.
Yeah, you must be conflicted about this.
Yeah.
On one hand, a kid's holiday is being ruined, which you obviously support.
Yeah, I do like that a lot. But I want to be the person to do it. You know, it's kind of like my stance on abortion. I'm against abortion, but for killing babies.
Yes.
Yeah, I just don't want them to have the choice. I want to have the choice. But anyway, Alpha Omega Sin, thanks again for joining us. Is there anything you want to plug before you go?
Check out my YouTube channel, I guess, if you want to. It's basically all gaming centered. If you don't like gaming, don't watch my channel. That's really about it. So type in Alpha Omega Sin, all one word, the end.
We'll link to it on the website. Thank you again for joining us. This has been a long time coming. Super fun. I'm glad we were able to do this. Yes. And for those watching on YouTube, you'll really enjoy the weird glitching that went on. You yourself included, Alpha. It looks so fucking cool, especially when we're talking about horror shit, because it looks fucking freaky how it happened. But anyway, thanks again for coming on Alpha Omega Sin. Thank you to my Sergeant of Swag, Mikey Bolts.
Thanks, Maddox.
Thank you to the Maharaja of Moderation, Rucka Ali.
Maharaja.
But most of all, you're welcome.
Hey Maddox, I think you may be the only person who is triggered by Scott Pilgrim versus the World because it's cultural appropriation of your childhood, and it's just taking that one thing away that you always had and you always cherished. That video games are cool and this, and I can explore this world and it's amazing. And then someone made money off of it, and it triggered you, and you don't like it. And also, it's not even real cultural appropriation. It's not even a real thing. So you got triggered. Fucking nasty.
Yeah. You know what? Because it was a piece of shit and is disingenuous.
Well, there's always been this thing of like, don't take my underground culture and make it lame. Like when punk rock becomes mainstream, the actual punks that smoke meth and fucking play fast-paced shit, they're like, hey, this shit's whack. Same with rap. When Iggy Azalea, I don't want to confuse you. That's a famous musician.
I know who Iggy is.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is it a man or a woman?
She's a woman.
Okay.
From Australia.
Just
blonde hair.
Right. Okay. Jesus Christ. Calm down. I don't want to fight about this. She starts rapping like she's from Brooklyn, and people are like, oh, this is cultural appropriation. It's whack. And that's gamers, of course, fucking flip the shit when there's some cringeworthy fucking commercialized packaging of gamer culture, right?
Yeah.
But that's not the same as saying something is racist. Like you can think that a rebranding of your culture is whack as fuck, but to call it racist, like to say this is cultural appropriation, you're appropriating Pacific Islander culture, and this is a racial issue. Now that's a whole new level.
It's a Rucker wrap-up.
Yeah.
Here's another call. So a couple weeks ago, Alpha, we had a revelation from Rucka that he wanted to tuck his balls inside his body.
That's sounds like exactly what I said.
It is. It's
More or less. Here's a call about that. Listen to this.
I'll be honest. If I lost my balls in an accident, or just had to lose them, I really wouldn't be that sad about it, because they're so sensitive. They're kind of in the way. You gotta shave them. They get sweaty. You gotta worry about them fucking making children.
Yeah, thank you for that call. We're down with you.
They might make little baby balls.
All good points.
Yeah, I was gonna say just the balls themselves are off making babies. Like you have to keep a short leash on them. You don't want them off going doing things without your say so.
Well, you might be a 45-year-old lady giving birth to a baby you didn't know you had. And here's one last call. This guy's trying one last time. Listen to this.
Hey, Maddox, why does it take 10 tickles to make it? Fucking son of a bitch!
Hey there. Don't forget to subscribe to Madcast shows on iTunes, Stitcher, or your favorite podcast app. Okay, bye. Madcast Media Network.